Another listing in London, and this time it is Amirose London, which is coming to the Aquis exchange in the first week of June. To find out about the business model, I am delighted to be joined by Non-Executive Director Mitchell Field. So, Mitchell, tell me about that business model. What does the company do, and how long has it been established?
Well, Amirose has been established since 2008, but the business itself and the facility has been there since 2000, and it is a contract manufacturer of personal care and beauty products. So the manufacturing is a facility in Norfolk, which caters for all the elements and aspects of personal care, some beauty in the fragrance and color, but predominantly the biggest sector we're into is hair care.
Okay, are you allowed to mention any names of your clients, or is that top secret?
Well, the clients the company enjoys at the moment are people like Philip Kingsley, Murdoch, Umberto Giannini, Nikki Clark. They're all hair care. And likewise, I could name a string of other brands in the skincare and the deodorant and fragrance lines would be comparable to those.
So, what exactly is it that Amirose London does? Is it white labeling? Do you create the formulations? What is it that you can do without giving away too many top secrets?
No, it's not. It's the contract manufacturing is a baseline or the foundation for almost anyone that wants to bring a brand out into the market. So we offer the background, a full service where we devise, we formulate, we share the process, including the procurement of materials, and bring it to shelf-ready product. So it's an established model where there's about five or six competitors who all operate in the same sector as we do, and those opportunities are offered to them competitively with ours. But what makes us stand out is that the facility is 25 years old now. It's got mature systems, a very wonderful bank of formulations developed over many, many years and updated regularly with innovation. It's got all the processes and software, and it's got an expert team running them.
Okay, so before we come to that expert team, I just want to know established business, but how is the current business performing?
Business is profitable. It's very competent because it's got in 2023, when Amirose took over the business, it made certain decisions about how it wanted to operate. And one of those was to shed unprofitable, low margin areas of the business. So we were doing quite high volume with low profitability. And they took that out of the system, went for the brand owners themselves. Most of the traditional business would have been with the supermarket type or the discounters. It's no longer has any of those in its portfolio. The only supermarkets left really are people like Waitrose, who we do a lot of work for. So the model now operates at a 40% plus GP, gross margin, and the baseline of the company has, although the turnover has gone down, is much more profitable than it's ever been. What we've established by rationalizing it is we're only now using 18% of the capacity of the business. So we can take our business with the business moment is doing 14, 15 million. We should be able to reach 50 million without much investment.
Okay, and we'll come to the investment part of our discussion just in a minute. But you talked about excellent people. Who's involved with the company? What's the breadth and the experience of management?
Well, the top of the tree is the CEO, a gentleman called Michael Heath. He's grown up with the business. He's started as FD and he's been there for 11 years and he now is CEO. He knows all the personalities, all the nuances of manufacture. I mean, he's a young lad. He's under 40, extremely competent. Second one under him is another young lady called Lucia Liano, and she came from the Hut Group. She was in charge of their marketing division at the manufacturing end, bringing out the own label brands for the Hut Group. And she joined us as commercial director of the group. There's myself, and there's a gentleman called Andy Jones who comes out of the food industry, an experienced hand, a little bit older than the other two, but he's certainly younger than me. And he brings with him brands like Hotel Chocolat and other contract manufacturing within the food sector.
Okay, and I appreciate that that's just the top
The
part of the
very top. They're the executive team.
yeah, top part of the corporate tree. And there's so many others. However, we don't have the time to do sort of the roll call of everybody involved. But what are the aspirations for the business? What how does the board intend to future-proof the company?
Okay, well, a contract manufacturer is precisely what it describes. It takes a contract, takes a brief from the customer, and does the full service development of it. By the way, on board, one of the real opportunities is that we have a chemist and technical team that innovate products against that brief. So what we're looking to do is improve our base margin and actually secure contracts in a different way. And one of those is to take partnerships with brands. We're regularly offered them. By tradition, we've always refused them because we thought there might be a conflict of interest with our customer if we've got competitive hair care brands, which we have a share of. But we've discovered that really they're not too bothered. Brands are brands, and we've now taken a position in Nicky Clark where we're sharing equity. We've actually, in this case, taken a license to the brand, and we've operating it in two sectors. One's the mass market for the retail sector, and the other one is the prestige or top end of it for the professional industry. So they will get royalties from both sectors. That royalty stream is the base of the relationship. In that one, we don't have equity. But in the second opportunity, which is related to celebrity fragrance, that we're forming an SPV to take equity in the brand, and part of the money that we're raising will be used to pay for the license fee.
Okay, so very briefly, you mentioned that you're just one of the few. There are competitors, but not many. So how does the business intend to stay ahead of other industry participants? What is Amirose London's USPs?
Right. Well, by taking interest in brands, we actually secure the value of the company because we're basically getting two bites of the cherry. We get one with our investment in the brand itself and our participation in it, in the equity of the name, the trademarks. And of course, we also make a decent margin in the contract manufacturing, and we foolproof our competitive element. We're unlikely to lose a company or a contract. Not that we lose very many, we don't, but the chance of losing something as it grows and as it matures are much higher than where it is now. And it also means that if the brand gets sold, we have some interest in the outcome of that sale. So the contract manufacturing side of it is much securer with brands that we own partly.
Understood. So why list now and why on the Aquis exchange?
Well, there's two or three reasons. One is we've now got a very clean sheet as an operation, good team, solid base, profitability, but we'll only grow as far as we're able to create new business within it. And although the capacity is huge, we decided that it was much better to buy the licenses or joint ventures, build up a second tier of business, feeding as a feeder into our main business. And we need the capital to buy license fees, to invest in the procurement of materials, because every time we buy a brand, that's our responsibility. We have to come up with the money, not the customer.
Okay, and in terms of the money, you're not asking for a lot. You're asking for about £1 million, and the valuation looks very low. Has this been done on purpose?
Very much done on purpose. The thinking behind it is, look, the contract manufacturing as a business in its own right, although profitable, safe, it's not the sexiest business in the world. I mean, you want to get people in who can see a much riskier high side, but a much more better return. And SPVs offer that. So we thought it would be easy to get people into the company where it's safe and then entice them with the SPVs later on. So we started a much lower valuation. I mean, it is well below the normal sector, and mainly because we're looking really for a second tier later on of fundraising as we bring new partnerships in.
Okay, so investors like to know about skin in the game where directors are concerned. So what financial commitments have the directors made into the company? So they're on parity with shareholders.
Okay. The skin in the game is from one investor who is a customer who's put in enough to buy himself 25% of the equity. The founder has still got 27% of equity. I've got 20, as part of my inducement to come and work for them. But the monies that were in there and the monies that we are raising, in fact, almost all of us have put money in. I put money into this first round. So the existing shareholder base has added, I think, another 400,000 or 300. I don't know what it's actually up to, but the new business should bring it up to 1 million, the new fundraising.
Okay, and I appreciate the book building still going on as you and I are
It's
talking.
only just over a week old. Yeah.
Yeah. So what is the lock-in period for existing shareholders and seed investors?
It's a minimum of 1 year. And then an orderly exit for any shareholders. I can't imagine there's any of the founder shareholders who want to come out, but there's an orderly exit for those.
Okay, so finally, how is the book building going, and can investors still get involved and give orders for the
Yeah,
opportunity?
I mean, I think we're two-thirds of the way there. We are still making presentations to the city, and I think there's 200,000 or 300,000 still needed to complete the million that we're trying to achieve.
Okay, getting closer, getting closer. I appreciate that this week is going to be a very hectic one for you. I appreciate your time, Mitchell Field. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
My pleasure too.